Good early morning, everybody. It's August 30th, 2024. And the criminals knocked me out. They put me to sleep, and then when I woke up, they did something that they started doing recently. And that is using a radio frequency to shatter the window, make a loud bang in the loft of my house. And then it has some odorous substance. So, I want to talk about organized harassment and what is commonly known as gang stalking and some of their tactics. So, here's an article posted September 10, 2023. But before I get on with this, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. And welcome newcomers. Welcome to all the people who think that you're being stalked, but you're not aware of all of the tactics. We're going to review some of the tactics right now to help you understand what's really happening, because generally you go under surveillance for several years before all the really bad stuff starts happening, because they want to psychologically profile you. And they profile you not just your personality, but your habits, your likes, your dislikes, who your friends are, what you eat. They'll actually dig into your trash. Yes, that's why they're trash. They'll dig into your trash to find things about you so that they can use it against you in the future. And yes, these people get paid with your tax dollars. So this is the Stop Gang Stalking Attention Awareness Group. And the article is posted September 10, 2023 by Stop Gang-Stalking. Gang-stalking and recognizing the signs, common behaviors associated with it. So, in recent years, concerns about gang-stalking have gained significant attention, prompting individuals to seek information and support. Gang-stalking refers to a set of behaviors and actions aimed at harassing, intimidating, or monitoring a targeted individual, often over extended period. While gang stalking is not officially recognized as a psychological disorder, it's crucial to shed light on the distress and suffering experienced by those who believe they're victims. Well, we can already see that this article is a little bit biased, right? In this extended blog post, we will delve into common signs associated with gang stalking, with specific focus on unwanted communication, surveillance, invasion of privacy, electronic harassment, and the use of directed energy weapons. Oh, there's so much more, though. Unwanted communication is one of the most unmistakable signs of gang stalking. Victims frequently find themselves bombarded with unwanted messages, often from anonymous sources, that are meant to create fear and distress. I'll give you a very quick example. So now, I've mentioned before that I've got an eBay account. I've been selling on eBay since 2002. And I sell items there to donate back to my nonprofit cat rescue. Well, this happens repeatedly, over and over and over again, where somebody sets up a profile. They set up a new account, like this one, named Kimbre, KIMBRE-1127. Member since August 25, 2024, just set up the account to stalk my account and send an email about this listing. Let me show you. Help mom cat litter of kittens. You receive a photo to benefit our cat rescue. You will receive a photo to benefit our cat rescue nonprofit. Kimberly writes, are these still available? Yes. They think that I'm selling kittens on eBay. Yes. These losers do this over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many. So now this was sent to me on August 25, the day that they set up the account. So they deliberately set up the account. They have 0 feedback score. They stalk my listings. And it doesn't matter which one it is because a lot of them are just selling photos. And will say, are these still available? I don't respond anymore. But this is another form of harassment, Kimberly. Now everybody knows who you are. Okay, so let's go back to the article. Anonymous communication. Perpetrators often hide behind anonymity, using disposable phone numbers, fake email addresses, or online aliases, making it challenging for victims to identify them or seek legal recourse. Well, actually, you can, because everybody leaves a digital footprint. And like with this person through eBay, I just report them to eBay and then I block them. But it doesn't matter because they'll likely not use that name again. They'll use another one and just change the numbers. Gaslighting. Gaslighters may engage in gaslighting tactics, attempting to manipulate the victim's perception of reality by denying involvement or pretending to be innocent, further adding to the victim's confusion and anxiety. Surveillance. The pervasive feeling of being under constant surveillance is a hallmark of gang stalking. Victims report experiencing this surveillance both in public and within the supposed safety of their homes. Signs of surveillance include physical surveillance. Victims may notice unfamiliar individuals and vehicles frequently near their residence or workplace, leading to heightened paranoia and fear. Electronic surveillance. Gang stalkers may resort to hacking into victims' devices, including computers, phones, or security cameras, to monitor their activities and gather personal information, amplifying the sense of intrusion. Because they're snoops. Yeah, they're snoops. And they're addicted to chaos, and they're addicted to you. Because they're envious, jealous losers. So they want to find out everything about you. Because they have nothing better to do with their sorry lives. Unexplained break-ins. Some victims uncover evidence of break-ins or tampering with their personal belongings, indicating a breach of their privacy and security. And vandalism. Gang stalking inherently involves a significant invasion of the victim's privacy, as perpetrators relentlessly disrupt their lives and well-being. Privacy invasion in gang stalking includes the following. Personal information exposure. Gang stalkers may expose the victim's private information online or within their social circle, putting their safety and reputation at risk. Stalking in person. Victims may encounter strangers who possess an unsettling level of knowledge about their personal lives, leading to heightened paranoia and anxiety. Vandalism and property damage. Some victims report instances of vandalism or property damage, intensifying feelings of vulnerability or violation. Well, I'm going to add that the vandalism and property damage is off the charts. It was in Manalapan, New Jersey, and it is here in remote rural Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, Jackson County. These criminals are actually digging up my property because they're creepers. They're digging up, they're actually cutting the roots of my trees and vines. They're cutting them, exposing them. They're digging them up, cutting and exposing them. And they're stealing my soil and rock. It's off the charts. And that's okay, Sheriff Daniel Isaacs. I'm making my list and checking it twice. We already know who's been naughty and nice, or naughty and naughty, and you'll be receiving my certified letter soon. I'm just collecting a lot more evidence, and this way you can deny it all you want. not take photos. Phone interference. Victims may experience unusual interference during phone calls. Oh, yes, like I was speaking to a friend that I hadn't spoken to in a long time yesterday. And at the beginning of the conversation, we start talking and chatting, and the criminals hung up the call. It wasn't on their end, it was on my end. Somebody actually hung up the call, dropped the call. Email and online activity manipulation. Gang stalkers may tamper with victims' email accounts, send malicious software, malware, or manipulate their online activities, contributing to a sense of invasion and loss of control. Well, what it does is it's a form of manipulation and censorship. And I have experienced my posts not showing up. Or when I do post on other people's channels, I'll have these bot stalkers stalking me and writing erroneous, discrediting comments. So, and then we already know about the infamous cyber stalkers on YouTube. They tamper with your email accounts. They send malicious software. They may launch an online campaign to defame, harass, or discredit the victim, causing significant emotional distress. Well, now what I do is I just report those creatures to YouTube and block them from my channel. Direct energy weapons. In some instances, gang stalking victims report experiencing the use of directed energy weapons, which emit targeted energy to harm or manipulate their physical and mental well-being. And they also do it to your pets. They've been doing it to my guineas. One of my guineas, within the last 7 days, they've targeted 2 of my guineas. And these birds, they're the sweetest birds. They're innocent. They're, they wander around. They walk on the county road. You have to remember that my property extends beyond the county road. It's on both sides of the street. So if my birds decide to cross the county road to get to the other side of my property, that's okay. So somebody's been driving back and forth and actually shooting at my guineas. I believe that they used a BB gun because they left a hole in the leg of one of my girls, who actually made it back home after her feathers were all over the county road. I thought that she had died. She made it back home. She was so listless, but she died overnight. And now they did it to another one who's limping. 2 in 1 week. And you criminals, karma's coming for you. I promise. When I put my energy out there, you fucking witches, you're messing with the wrong person, and you damn well know it. Mental disturbance. Some victims report experiencing cognitive appearance, memory lapses, or mood disturbances as a result of exposure to these weapons. Well, yes, of course, when you have watched Jose Delgado's experiments and Dr. James Giordano, who prances with glee across the stage about he can hack a brain and make you do anything that they want you to do. And no, this is not fantasy. This is actually happening, and we are the experiments. Targeted pain. Gang stalkers may employ directed energy weapons to inflict pain or discomfort, leaving victims struggling to explain their symptoms. That's why they want to isolate the victim. Because if people were close to you and saw you on a regular basis, they would say, they would question, Lorraine, what is that mark on your face? That wasn't there yesterday. How did that get there? Oh, or if I would show them the triangle that was precisely cut in my forearm, they'd say, that wasn't done by an animal. Who did that? Who cut that triangle in your arm? And victims experience an unexplained physical symptoms such as burns, rashes, dizziness, or intense fatigue. That book, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars? They're not going to use bullets anymore. Although, yeah, my neighbors are stupid enough to still use bullets. puncturing 4 bullet holes through my no trespassing sign, and then leaving the casings on the floor right underneath the sign. Oh well. Yeah. Yes. Nothing like leaving the evidence behind. So in conclusion, recognizing the signs associated with gang stalking, including unwanted communication, surveillance, invasion of privacy, electronic harassment, and the use of directed energy weapons, is crucial to those who believe that they may be victims. While not every instance of these behaviors necessarily indicates gang stalking, when experienced together and persistently, they warrant serious concern. If you suspect you're a victim of gang stalking, it is imperative to seek support from trusted friends, family, and professionals who can help you navigate these distressing experiences. And I say, document everything. Speak out. Start a YouTube channel. Provide your evidence online. We need to band together against these criminals. There are more of us than them. Oh yeah, there are. Unless you're going to include those 80 fusion centers and all their employees, we need to shut down those fusion centers. There's absolutely no purpose for them. Absolutely none. Remember that you're not alone, and there are resources available to assist you in addressing the situation and ensuring your safety and well-being. The road to resolution may be challenging, but with support it is possible to regain control of your life and find solace. So that's an awareness group. And then there's another one here called The Bounce Black Guide to Surviving Organized Harassment. Organized harassment, including gang stalking, is a method of retaliation, silencing, and intimidation. And I wonder, I moved here not knowing anyone. What the hell are they retaliating against me for? Oh, because I actually moved here. Oh, because I purchased a property that they couldn't afford. Oh, it's a property that they wanted. Oh, it's a property that they actually unalive. They really got the former owner who lived here until the age of 96. They couldn't unalive him with the contrived heart attack they gave him, or the fact that they unalived his wife after a few years of him living here and he survived that. But then, of course, they had to black mold the entire interior of his mobile home trailer, and he ended up dying of pneumonia in the month of July. Like, what the hell? Who dies of pneumonia in July? Oh, well, it would happen certainly if they infected your home with black mold. You were already 96 and survived their contrived heart attack and unaliving his wife to cause distress. Do you think that the former owner was a targeted person? Yeah. Anyway. So organized harassment, commonly referred to as gang stalking, is a form of coordinated intimidation and harassment perpetrated against individuals by groups or networks. I'm going to add, or secret societies. You know those cults. Yeah. This phenomenon includes multiple perpetrators working together to systematically target and harass a victim, often with the goal of retaliation, silencing dissent, or instilling fear. Note, it is our preference to refer to this activity as organized harassment rather than gang stalking. Well, I agree with you. I like that better. It is organized and it is harassment. Due to the widespread misperception that these experiences are entirely pathological and indicative of severe mental illness and paranoid delusions, such a broad brush perspective is extremely dangerous and isolating for victims of these very real, coordinated attempts at sabotage, discrediting, intimidation, and destruction. And the total stand down by authorities tells you that you've been placed in a program, and it's a big dark secret. But it's not so secret anymore. You have any idea how many YouTube creators are speaking out about this? And they're experiencing it. And then I just it popped up. I have an alert that just pops up on my phone of a YouTube creator that I'm subscribed to, and and the new title of his video is "It doesn't bode well for the gang stalkers," and it doesn't. Carmageddon is on its way every day, and then you've got people speaking out like me and you. Key characteristics. 1. Coordinated effort. Perpetrators of organized harassment work together in a coordinated method, utilizing various tactics to target the victim. Yeah, they're like a bunch of junior high school thugs, right? 2. It's multifaceted tactics. Perpetrators employ a wide range of tactics, including surveillance, stalking, verbal abuse, vandalism, psychological manipulation, and cyber harassment. Number 3, persistent and pervasive. Organized harassment is often persistent and ongoing, creating a pervasive atmosphere of fear and anxiety for the victim. Number 4, gaslighting. Perpetrators may engage in gaslighting, deliberately manipulating the victim's perception of reality to undermine their confidence and sanity. Well, I'm sorry, folks. You're not undermining my sanity or my confidence. It's actually empowering me. Your stupidity and mind games and vandalism that are so obvious are basically empowering me to speak out more and collect more evidence. And guess what? We've got the Brady list. I'm going to talk about that in another video, but I wanted to spend more time on it. The Brady list, because I think we all need to file a complaint on the Brady list. I think we need to flood the Brady list with the names of gang-stalking police and lawyers. Flood with evidence. Gaslighting. The perpetrators may engage in gaslighting, deliberately manipulating the victim's perception of reality and undermine their confidence and sanity. Well, that's their goal. It's not working. Number 5, community involvement. In some cases, perpetrators recruit members of the community, such as neighbors or acquaintances, to participate in the harassment campaign, further isolating the victim. I hear this thing, the further isolating the victim, okay? They're not isolating the victim. The victim who's being victimized, or the individual being victimized, I'm not a victim, I'm being victimized, chooses to not associate with psychopaths. Who wants to associate with neighbors that are depraved lunatics, that lie, that scream? Who wants to associate with people like that? Those are their lowlifes. So I choose to isolate myself from psychopaths. And you should too. The motives. Retaliation. Again, it baffles the mind. Retaliation. Organized harassment may be initiated as a retaliation for perceived slights, conflicts, or opposition to the perpetrator's beliefs or actions. Well, like I said, I just moved here knowing no one, so obviously there was a rumor campaign spread before I even got here. Number 2, silencing dissent. Individuals who speak out against corruption, injustice, or other controversial issues may be targeted in an attempt to silence their voices and discourage further dissent. So guess what I did today? I called our local, it's called Dial and Deal, where you can buy and sell things in our local community. I called the radio station because I heard a woman wanting to give away her dog for free. Well, I have a problem with that since I've been rescuing animals for decades. So I called in. I said, I'd just like to respond to the fact that you should not be giving away your animals for free unless you know the individual. Because there are very depraved, sick people out there that do harm to animals. And in our community, there is a lot of witchcraft. There are a lot of secret societies I didn't say secret society. There are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of cults out there that ritually abuse animals. They sacrifice them. So you should not give away your animals for free. You should always tell somebody that they, whether it's $5 or $10, because somebody who has good intentions towards your animal will gladly pay you the money. They'll gladly give you their name, address, and phone number. You give your animal away to a stranger, you're taking a chance with that animal's life. And you'll have to suffer the karma for doing that. So yes, I spoke out on the air, and it was on the air because some older woman got on and says, well, I disagree with that woman. You know, she was totally ignorant. She said, well, I can give my animals away. Yeah, you could give your animals away to everybody, anyone that you want. But you have no experience. Have you ever followed up on what happens to that animal after you give it away? I'm telling you, the ignorance of people is just off the charts, beyond believable. So, intimidation. The primary goal of organized harassment is often to intimidate and instill fear in the victim, coercing them into compliance or silence. Well, like, I don't negotiate with bullies, and I'm not easily intimidated. So, let's go on to the impact on victims. The psychological effect. Victims of organized harassment may experience severe psychological distress, including anxiety, paranoia, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. 2. Social isolation. The harassment campaign can lead to social isolation as victims may withdraw from friends, family, and community activities out of fear or shame. 3. Professional and financial consequences. Victims may also suffer professional and financial repercussions such as job loss, damage to reputation, or financial strain due to legal fees or relocation costs. Number 4, self-harm and suicidality. Please, folks, do not do this. Okay? Victims may feel trapped and powerless to improve and prove their situation, and so they may resort to self-destructive behavior or taking their own lives, which is their ultimate aim of these harassment campaigns. So never give in to these people. Never. These are losers. You want to give in to a loser? They're only targeting you because you're a winner. Right? If you were a loser, would they be targeting you? No. They're targeting you because you are a winner. You're creative. You're motivated. You're successful. That's why they target you. They want to steal your joy. The legal and ethical implications. And also, people who are happy within themselves, who are successful, they don't have time to get involved with other people's nonsense. They don't have time. So, legal and ethical implications. Legal protections. While laws vary by jurisdiction, organized harassment may constitute various criminal offenses, including stalking, harassment, defamation, and conspiracy. And I'm going to tell you, folks, the defamation, you could get treble damages for that. If you can prove that there's been a slander campaign in your community, sort of like my neighbor going up to people telling my workers that I don't pay people, you can really win a lawsuit on that. Absolutely win a lawsuit on that. Okay? So, defamation and conspiracy. That's right. Victims should seek legal counsel to explore their options for protection and recourse. Now, while it's very difficult for targeted people to hire an attorney, you can get the assistance without them representing you. And there are lots of lawyers on YouTube, like the civil rights lawyer. You need to watch his videos and hear the way he speaks about a lot of these crimes. You can really learn so much from these YouTube lawyers. Ethical considerations. Perpetrators of organized harassment violate fundamental ethical principles, including respect for individual autonomy, dignity, privacy, and freedom from harm. Plus, there are a lot of civil rights violations. Response and support. Documentation. Victims should document instances of harassment, including dates, times, locations, and descriptions of the perpetrators and their actions. And yes, when you file incident reports and you get an incident report number and nobody comes out here to photograph your evidence, it's another feather in your cap, boys and girls. Community resources. Local organizations and support groups may offer assistance and resources to victims of organized harassment, including advocacy, counseling, and legal support, particularly if it is a biased hate crime, race, religion, sexual orientation. What's the other one I'm thinking of? Age, maybe. And remember, if you're a senior citizen, you're considered to be a protective class. That's right. So senior citizens have different types of protections. And there are a lot of groups out there that are willing to help gather evidence and prosecute these crimes against seniors. In conclusion, organized harassment, including gang stalking, is a reprehensible tactic used to retaliate against, silence, and intimidate individuals. By raising awareness of this phenomenon and providing support to victims, communities can work to combat organized harassment and uphold principles of justice, dignity, and human rights. Learn more about organized harassment techniques via the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. Yeah, right. I don't know about that so much. But anyway, some victim support services here in the United States. There's the National Center for Victims of Crime. They offer resources, advocacy, and support services for victims of all types of crime. In the UK, there's Victim Support. Canada, there's the Canadian Centre for Victims of Crime. Australia, Victim Services. And Europe, Victim Support Europe. It's a network for victim support organizations across Europe providing assistance to victims of crime. And I want to thank the subscriber and targeted female who lives in Germany. She doesn't want me to say her name, for her handwritten letter. Beautiful stamps. I mean, I love the stamps from other countries. And at some point, I'll read some of what her testimony is, what she's been experiencing. I have to review it again because it doesn't flow as easily when I have to stop because I don't understand some of the handwriting. So, but thank you so much. I love receiving handwritten letters. And then in the UK, there's Citizens Advice, which is legal assistance. In the UK, there's Legal Aid, provides legal assistance. In Canada, there's Legal Aid Canada. Australia, Legal Aid Australia. In Europe, European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights, which is FRA. Well, there's also mental health support, and I have to say that you've got to be very, very careful, and I do not recommend NAMI. I just don't. I don't recommend many of these groups because they can be easily coerced. Other government agencies in the U.S., there's the Office for Victims Crime, OVC, offers resources and support for victims of crime, including stalking and harassment. In Canada, there's Canadian Victims Bill of Rights. Australia, the Canadian Cyber Security Centre. In the UK, there's the National Stalking Helpline. In Europe, there's the European Institute for Gender Equality. And let's see what else here. Please, guys, if anybody feels suicidal, if you want to do drugs, just talk to somebody, listen to music, pet an animal, go to an animal shelter, do a little volunteer work. You'll feel a lot better. They actually need you there. Let me see here. Anything else here? Well, there's an article here, Standing Up to Gang Stalking, a Guide to Legal Options for Victims by Alex Hardenberg, February 24, 2023. Gang stalking, also known as targeted harassment, is a form of harassment in which an individual or group of people are subjected to systemic or coordinated campaign of harassment and intimidation. This can involve surveillance, stalking, and other forms of harassment with the aim of isolating and intimidating the victim. Gang stalking can be incredibly distressing for the victim, and it can be difficult to know where to turn for help. So in this article, we will explore the legal options available to victims of gang stalking. Gang stalking often involves multiple perpetrators, and the harassment can be very coordinated and systemic. Victims of gang stalking organized harassment may feel like they're being watched and followed everywhere they go. Well, you are. You are. They may also experience harassment online, with the perpetrators posting derogatory comments and images about them on social media and other online platforms. Yes, like some loser who I blocked and reported. Yes, you can keep it up, FBI agent or whomever you were, private contractor, loser. Maybe you're one of those malevolent police, saying that I sounded drunk in one of my lives or whatever. And I do want to say that on one of my lives, I listened back to it, and it's almost like I heard words from an external source speaking over my video. If you experienced that, please leave a comment down below. I want to know, because sometimes you hear things differently than I do during my videos. There are restraining orders. Well, I tried to get one against my neighbors, and Ross Murray, the county lawyer, wouldn't sign off on it because he's biased and complicit and falsifies evidence. Restraining orders is a legal option that victims of gang stalking can consider in obtaining. Restraining order is a legal order that prohibits an individual from contacting or coming near the victim. This can be a useful tool for victims of organized harassment, as it can help to prevent the perpetrators from contacting or harassing them. To obtain a restraining order, the victim must typically file a petition with the court. The court will then hold a hearing to determine whether the restraining order should be granted. If the court grants the restraining order, the victim can then use it to prevent the perpetrators from contacting or coming near them. You can file criminal charges. If the harassment is severe enough, victims of gang stalking can consider pursuing criminal charges against their perpetrators. This can be done by contacting the police and reporting the harassment. Well, this is where it all goes wrong, because it says here the police will then investigate the matter. No, they don't. They don't investigate the matter. They do not investigate the matter, even with a video, with an audio, with evidence, with proof. Not here. They don't investigate the matter. Period. That's why you need to report the police for not investigating, for having a bias against you. So it's important to note that criminal charges can be difficult to prove in cases of stalking, as the perpetrators may be very careful to avoid leaving evidence. Not mine. Mine are assholes. They leave their bullet casings behind. You know, all you have to do is trace it back to the weapon. Of course, when I gave it to the sheriff, when I showed the sheriff, did he do that? Nah. No, he just totally ignored it. Totally ignored it. They're all in on it, guys. However, if the police are able to gather sufficient evidence, which they don't do, criminal charges can be a powerful tool for victims of gang stalking. So this is why you have to collect your evidence yourself. And if it means evidence against the sheriff's department and the police, that's what you've got to do. And then you have to file it against them all for being complicit. Conspiracy against rights under the color of law. Title 18, Section 241 and 242. And plus there's a zillion other ones. Like when you go to the Brady list website, they give you the laws that can be violated if you're a police officer, a county lawyer, prosecutor. They're right there. All you have to do is click on them. It tells you exactly the definition for each violation. Perfect. 3. Civil lawsuits. Victims of gang-stalking can also consider filing a civil lawsuit against the perpetrators. The civil lawsuit is a legal action in which the victim seeks to recover damages for the harm they have suffered, and this includes damages for emotional distress, lost wages, and other expenses associated with the harassment. To file a civil lawsuit, the victim must typically hire a lawyer. Well, that's not true. You would typically hire a lawyer and file a complaint with the court. The complaint will outline the victim's allegations and the damages they are seeking to recover. The court will then hold a trial to determine whether the victim is entitled to damages. But you can also file a small claims. And now I believe the small claims is up to $6,000. So small claims court. Actually, you can file a small claims online. I just saw that. You can file a small claims online. 4. Cyber stalking laws. Many states have laws that specifically address cyber stalking. These laws prohibit the use of electronic communication to harass or intimidate another person. Victims of gang stalking who are experiencing harassment online can consider pursuing legal action under these laws. To pursue legal action under cyber stalking laws, the victim must typically report the harassment to law enforcement. The police will then investigate the matter. No, they don't. In my case, when I reported that cyber stalker to his local police, they actually took the report. But then when I filed it here locally, because the one out of state says, oh no, you've got to file it locally because you're incurring the abuse where you live. So then I was told here by our sheriff's department when I spoke to an officer there, well, we were told that it's not our jurisdiction. Who told them that it's not their jurisdiction? I live here. It's your jurisdiction. You need to investigate the matter because I live here. If charges are filed, the victim can use the law to seek damages for the harm they have suffered. Then there are other legal options that victims can consider. For example, victims may be able to seek a civil restraining order. They left the word out here. A civil restraining order. So anyway, there are other articles here that perhaps I'll read another time. It's late. It's early. I'm obviously not going to go to sleep tonight because it's already early this morning, because the criminals already put me to sleep for an hour and a half, stealing my time. So anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, exposing one criminal at a time, here in Jackson County, Kentucky, and Manalapan, New Jersey. And just wait, I'm looking forward to completing my Brady list of offenders and providing evidence to prove it. And you should too. And let me just show you guys, I'll show you just quickly what this looks like. This is the Brady list. Right here, folks. You click here to file an officer complaint, prosecutor complaint, a judge complaint. And then what you can do is go down here and type here, like I typed in Manalapan, Kentucky, New Jersey, and you got to see what pops up. Like, look at this one here. Look at this one here. Where is it? This person, Louisville, Kentucky. Complaint against this person. And how about this person in Nevada? This one in Illinois, Oklahoma, California. And look, I mean, there are lists and lists and endless lists for fraud. Oh my goodness, the list is endless. Like, let's see here. See, like, let's say you want to file a complaint against your county lawyer. So you click on that, and these are the categories by which they can be prosecuted. Look at this. Attorney misconduct, bias, coercive plea bargaining, cooperative misconduct, destruction of evidence, extrajudicial administrative sanctions, failure to disclose, judicial proceeding, obstruction of justice, overcharging, sojourning perjury, whistleblower retaliation. Look at that. Witness tampering. Oh, that doesn't happen here. Now, let's say you want to file a complaint against a police officer. You know, the ones that don't take your reports, that don't collect your evidence, that falsify the reports. Okay, so you can file under abuse of authority, bias, bribery, official corruption, conduct unbecoming, off-duty, criminal behavior, discourtesy, domestic violence, drug and alcohol abuse, false arrest, false statements. False statements there, guys. You know, when they fake the reports, First Amendment, illegal search, language, lockup procedures, medical, misconduct, money, property, operation, personal violations, racial profiling, supervisory responsibility, use of force, verbal abuse. And when you file this complaint, they give you the option of attaching evidence and witnesses. Yes, isn't that wonderful? So anyway, we'll go into this a little bit more. Because what you want to do is you want to go down to this first page. Let me just scroll back here. And you want to, let's see where to go. You want to go to this section here. Because you first want to find out if the person who's been harassing you, whether it's law enforcement or judge or prosecutor, you want to find out if there are complaints made about them or the police department itself. So you type in the search here, and like when I typed in Kentucky, like a whole bunch of people popped up. When I typed in Manalapan, well, only one person popped up, but I know because I've been on here before, and there have been at least 5 from Manalapan. But I guess, you know, they're criminals. Remember, they are criminals. So the criminals probably requested a removal, sort of like they requested the removal of my FOIA MUCKROCK account. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about it. My FOIA requests, my 41 FOIA requests. So, you know, they might request a removal, like they did with my Yelp complaints. I filed Yelp complaints against some of these local people, these local officials, and they were removed. Why would somebody do that? It's the truth. Just speaking the truth here. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm not you're actually not permitted to post links in the comments section. They were held for review by me. I did allow one to go through, but YouTube really does not like it. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for now.